Good morning children. Hope you are all doing good. So without wasting any time, let's move on to our syllabus, that is first chapter of the science, 8th standard, natural resources. What is the first lesson? Name is natural resource. Natural resource is what you can say in a small, when you studied about in a small classes about the environment, nature, everything. It is like that only, the natural resources, but in the class 8 we are going to study in detail about that. Okay, let's move on to the natural resources. First of all, natural resources is what? Firstly, it has two types, that is living resource and non-living resource. What is that? Living and non-living resource. And what is this living resource and non-living resources? You know what are living and non-living resources. The animals or the whatever the parts are there which can move or they can breathe or something like that. They all will be come under the living resources, and which cannot move, which doesn't have any respiration, excretion. These are all parts, but they will be staying at a place now. These are called as non-living resources, right? You have studied about the living and non-living resources. So next in that we are going to study about the living resource. Again it's divided into two types, that is forest and wildlife. Forest and wildlife comes in the living resource. Where it comes? It comes in the living resource. And next one, non-living resource, is what? Again it is divided into two types, that is renewable and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources and non-renewable resources. So the renewable resources are what? The resources which are renewed means actually which cannot be replenished once depleted. These are called as a non-renewable resources. These cannot be depleted. And which can be depleted, which can be replenished, which can be underwent, those are called as renewable resource. Which cannot be depleted, which can be depleted. This is the difference between the renewable resource and non-renewable resource. And again we move on to the renewable resources. Again it's divided into two types, that is inexhaustible and exhaustible. What is that inexhaustible and exhaustible resources? Inexhaustible resources are what? The resources which cannot be replenished. Means it cannot be taken whatever, like example I'll give you a solar energy. Solar energy is always, all through the life, the sun will be there. Even though the earth is destroyed, the sun will be there, right? So like that, from the sun we are getting the solar energy, right? So this solar energy, it will be there for the always, for the future, like that. So that is inexhaustible. It will be there forever, lifelong, right? So that is the example for the inexhaustible. And exhaustible, like these forests, because of the daily needs, humans will be cutting down all the trees. Once it may be depleted, means once it may be destroyed completely, nowhere the forest will be there, nowhere the wildlife will be there, all the animals may be killed. So like that, it may be, not only that it will be, it may be completely destroyed. That are called as exhaustible resources. It can be fully destroyed. These are what which cannot be destroyed, right? So this is the main difference between the inexhaustible resource and non-exhaustible resources. Okay. Next one is, this is over about the inexhaustible and exhaustible. Next, in inexhaustible again, this is the inexhaustible and exhaustible are there, right? So this is the example for I gave you is solar energy and wind. Wind cannot be destroyed, right? So exhaustible is what? Wildlife and forest. That's all about the inexhaustible and exhaustible. This is all the parts of the renewable resources. And non-renewable resources, again non-renewable resource, again we have minerals, and fossil fuels. What do we have? In minerals and fossil fuels we have in a non-renewable resources. So let's in the chapter I'll read out some important definitions, and so that you will be coming to know the definitions and some of the important words also. So a large number of these natural resources, either living or non-living, forest and wildlife, these are the example of the living resources. From the decayed remains of the decayed dead organism over a long period of time, soil, water, air, mineral, ores, these are all the example of the non-living resources. Firstly, I told you about living and non-living. In that one, I am reading. I am just lightly I have explained now. I am reading out the textbook version for you. Some renewable resources get replenished in nature easily. Such resources are called as renewable natural resources. It will be mixed with anything in this nature. So that is renewable natural resources. Next one, wildlife, forest. These are all example of the renewable resources. And non-renewable, which continuously available for us. It will be there for in the future also. That is renewables. So an example, solar energy and wind energy, I told you. Such resources are described as inexhaustible and exhaustible. Definitions I gave you. Let us learn about some natural resources that have a significant influence on the human life. What are the significant influence on the human life? We are going to study about that in detail now. This is about the natural resources all in detail. Exhaustible, inexhaustible, renewable, non-renewable, living, non-living, all these comes under the natural resources. Okay. Next is water. One of the most important, significant in the human life, right? Water is so much important. Correct? Significant part of a human life. So water is a unique natural resource. Why it is called as unique natural resources? They have said that water is a unique natural resources. In the give reasons I may ask you this one. Water is a unique natural resource. Why it is said as unique? Means it will be universal solvent. It is a unique because it mixes with everywhere in the salt. If you mix, it will be mixed in the salt you take, sugar you take, oil and some all the parts of this one it will be mixed. So it is called as all the type of inks, all the types of juices, water can be mixed, right? So that are called as essentials, and it is called as universal solvent also. So biodiversity, conservation, environmental stability, fuel security, and even healthcare. In most of the cases, there is no substitute for the water. Can you drink the juices all through the day? No, right? You need a water for a daily life, for a daily conserving. So there is no substitute, means without water you can't live. So it is a largely irreplaceable resource, unlike energy which has alternatives. In nature, water may change in the form of, but we can also derive from it. The earth holds some same quantity of water as it was formed. So when it was formed, the earth holds now also, but it can be depleted also. If you are going on misusing of the water, you are going on wasting the water like this, some way it can be a exhaustible resource, like, right? So don't waste the water. So it is the most important part of our life. So when the earth was formed, nearly 97% of the water on the earth is held in the oceans. Nearly 97% 97 percentage of the earth water is held in the ocean, seas and other large water bodies. Only 0.001 percentage of water occur in the atmosphere as a water vapor. Water vapor how much? 0.001. Only this much percentage is available in the atmosphere as a water vapor, and only 2.4 percentage of the water vapor water is found in the glaciers and polar caps. Glaciers and polar caps. So water 0.01 in the water vapor as a water vapor. 97 percentage in the ocean, seas, rivers, streams, everywhere. It is about 97 percentage, and 2.4% as glaciers and polar caps. Okay. As such, a very small percentage in the natural resources is available for the human use. So, if we minus this one, everything, only a 0.1 percentage like we are getting for the human use, right? In the form of you tap, you will be getting for the drinking water, that is potable water, you are able to drink the water, that is in the form of very little point, that is 0.1 like. So don't waste the water. Yes. Now, in briefly, distribution of the distribution of water on earth we will be seeing. So total distribution of water on the earth, how it is divided, well, let me show you. So this is the earth where 97 percentage of the water is in the form of salt water. How much percentage? 97 percentage of water is in the form of salt water in the total area of the earth. So only this fresh water we are getting this much, 3 percentage. How much? Yes, 3 percentage only. 97 percentage of the salt water. So we cannot drink the salt water, right? So only 3 percentage we are having for our human use. So this is about the salt and fresh use. Next one, in the fresh water we are seeing, in the fresh water we have only 0.3 percentage of the surface water, and ground it is 30.1. Groundwater, surface water, groundwater. Groundwater is what? It is underneath. It is below the earth. Like we cannot, if we want to drink that water, we need some wells or somewhat, or bowels. We have to dig it inside. Then only that water we may drink. So that is we cannot use it for daily use. Like always, we can't use it for, as a so easy one, right? So next one is only 0.3 percentage as in the form of surface water, that is in terms of like lakes, surface, streams, everywhere. You can't directly use from it. So like that, it is only about the 0.3 percentage. On 68.7 percentage is in the form of ice and glaciers again here. In the fresh water, I am talking you about the fresh water. In that only 100%, this much all it is divided, where all it will be finding here groundwater, surface water and ice and glaciers form. So again we are getting only here 0.3 percentage. So here 3 percentage of the fresh water in the form of total earth weight. Now in the fresh water only 0.3 percentage. So next comes about surface water. In this surface water, again we are taking, if we take 100 percentage of the surface water, in that 0.3 percentage, 2 percentage in the form of rivers, 11 percentage in the form of waste, drainage or swamps or something, and again 87 percentage in the form of lakes. In the lakes we have 87%. So this is total distribution of the water on the earth. So water is used for the human activities like washing, drinking, many cooking purpose. Everywhere we water, for everything we need a water, right? Industries and fire extinguishers for making making everything chemical water they need a water. Without water, nothing can be built or invented, right? So next, the largest use of the water is in the agriculture sector. Remember this, the largest use is in the agriculture sector. In our country, it is estimated that 80% of the water available for human use is employed for the agriculture practice. In Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat, over 85% of the irrigation is done through the groundwater resources. In all the Punjab and all, what they do, 85% of the water they will be using for the irrigation purpose. We have misusing and polluting the water to a great extent. Some of the problems related to water in our country are scarcity and unequal distribution. The water is not equally distributed. Wherever they want, the more amount of water is flowing somewhere, and there is not even a single drop of the water is there in some areas. So like that, unequal distribution is there, and scarcity and overuse, right? Overuse means you are wasting, like I told you in the smaller classes in 5th or 6th, while you're doing the brushing, you'll be keeping on your taps and all. Don't keep like that and keep on brushing like that. So just turn off the tap so that you will be saving 0.1% of water for the future use. Right? You'll be doing it right. So next, without wasting water, you must be very careful about the water. When you come to know about the distribution on the earth, then you will be coming to know the importance of the water. The annual rainfall in the country is about 400 million hectares in meters. Another 20 million meter flows in a surface water. This is considered that more sufficient to the provided water for different uses in the different countries. Next one, we will be moving on to a soil. This is all about the water. So soil is as well important as the water also. Without soil, no plants can be grown. Without water in the soil, if water is not poured in the soil, no plants can be grown. Right? So these two are the most important for our daily food to cultivate the crops, everything. So soil is also a very important part. Soil is a natural resource that provides a mineral and water to all the land plants. It is like home to the plants. So it is a primary nutrient based, particularly for the agriculture crops. In addition, in the place of living and a wide variety of the organizations like earthworm, crabs, insects and microorganisms, many animals will be living in the soil. It is a house for the small living organisms like these insects also. Like it is a totally built houses for the insects. Soil absorbs rainwater. The soil water is used by the plant. So that's why which have nutrients, if it gets water and it will be supplied to the plants and healthy crops are grown. Human activities have influenced even the soil quality. We have deteriorated the soil quality in the various ways. So where water logging and sanitation is the main causes of another serious problem in which one fertile lands are becoming the barren and useless. Means because of the sanitation, the sanitary, these drainage everywhere, because of that what happens, the fresh water won't go there and the land, the soil won't become rich. It won't be there with the much of the nutrients. So like that the land become completely barren. Barren means then nothing crops can be grown there. That is a barren land. The nutrient rich in alluvial soils of the Punjab suffer seriously with the desertification that is caused by introduction of the aggressive irrigation. And because of these industries, many of the pollutant water will be coming out of the industries. Many of the chemicals will be flowing from the industries. So what they do, they just mix up with the sanitary this one drainages or something, or in the fresh water also it will be somewhere it will be mixing, so that it will be applied to the irrigation, and again we will be getting a we won't get the pure form of crops, right? So in all the other way, we are getting a everywhere polluted air, water, soil, everywhere we are getting a polluted one. So the use of pesticides to protect our agriculture crops are also been adding to these problems. Why they use pesticides? To kill the insects. Many small insects will be killing the crops, right? So to kill them, they will be using the pesticides. So due to these pesticides, in the pesticides, again chemical will be there. So that chemical again it will be reaching to the plant. Again it will be harming the crops. The formation of soil occurs by the natural process called as the weathering of the rocks. So, in the small classes you have learnt about the weathering of rocks, how the soil is formed. Over the million of years, means when the rocks breaks completely in the form of crushed powder. So that time, after million of years, the soil will be formed. That soil we have to conserve for our future, right? So like that, water also, soil is also a most important part. Soil protection can now be an integral part of a conservation plan, restoring soil quality, and can be a solution of many of the environmental issues bothering to the human life. So forests are next we'll be on today's part is forest. So next part is, now we have learned about the water, soil. Next part is forest. Forest, these are the renewable natural resource that have innumerable contributions to the environment. They have wide variety of the contribution to our environment. It means if the forests are not there, we can't grow many crops, we can't get any spices, we can't get any more number of the plants. Wide varieties are there in the environment, so that we are making use from the forest. They maintain the soil quality by preventing soil erosion also. If forests are there, they can prevent soil erosion. How? I told you in the 5th class. Soil erosion can be controlled if more number of trees are there. So direct rain won't be falling on the soil. So soil won't be flooded easily, right? So if the trees are there, it will be falling on the tree, so that tree will be absorbing the water. So soil is not eroded. Soil won't be rushed immediately. So it can prevent soil erosion. However, the rapid changes have been noticed that in the percentage distribution of the forest in the world, it is now estimated that only 20% of the old original forests remain intact and undestroyed. Now, in the world, totally 20% of the forest they are there as undestroyed. Remaining 80% are already destroyed. I told you about the exhaustible and inexhaustible, right? So like that, this is the biggest example where 80% of the forest are destroyed already. In the last 23 years, 20 to 30 years, the rate of desertification or deforestation has increased. Desertification about the soil, sorry. This is about the deforestation. Deforestation is what? The cutting down of the trees. More number of trees are being cutted, so that they make the plywoods, woods, everywhere furnitures are more they are using nowadays. So for the paper also they are cutting everywhere. This one deforestation being used as a cutting down of trees that has been increased. The pattern of rainfall has changed since the water cycle has been affected. The rate of soil erosion has increased as the vegetation covers the soil has been destroyed. So it is now necessary to restore the forest by actual, that is afforestation. What is afforestation? Afforestation is what? Planting the trees. Planting more and more number of the trees is afforestation. So I will be giving you the freshly prepared questions for you from the page to page. I will be sending you the photo of this, and I will be giving you the questions. You have to search some definitions and some of the questions which I have given you. So lastly, just pick me the answers and send it in the app. Okay. So in the next class, we will be studying you the next continued part of this lesson. The lesson is not over. In the next part, we will be continuing. Okay. Thank you.